Let's nip this man versus bear conversation in the bud right now. The question is, would you rather be in the forest alone with a man or a bear? Let's nip.
So, do you all remember the conversation that we've had about men versus bear? The men versus bear conversation, where every woman was choosing the bear. I'd rather be stuck in the forest with the bear, because the question was, would you rather be stuck in the forest with a man that you do not know or a bear? And every woman, almost every woman was like, I would rather be stuck with a bear. Let me know that, let the bear unalive me rather than be stuck with a man in the forest. You all remember the conversation. I want to show you all this video first, then I'll see you at the end of the video.
This man versus bear conversation in the bud right now. The question is, would you rather be in the forest alone with a man or a bear? Not a or a bear. What percentage of men do y'all think are? That's what's really getting to me, because y'all make it seem like it's a 50% chance. Like, oh, he might me, he might not. Have you lost your mind? And before y'all answer that in the comments, because it is a question and I do want an answer, what percentage of men do y'all think are? And when you answer, I want you to put it in the form of a sentence of the men that are in your life. So that way we can bring this back to reality. So I want you to say, of my 3 brothers, 2 of them are. Of my 6 male cousins, 3 of them are. Of my 5 male friends, 2 of them are. I want you to give me those numbers. And I think about this in real life because I have brothers in real life. And if somebody out there chose to be in the forest with a bear as opposed to one of my brothers because you thought there was even a chance that one of them might rape you, bitch, fight me right now. No, fight me right now.
She's saying that our relatives are not rapists, so definitely why are we saying that we would choose the bear? We should count how many rapists that we know. How many rapists that we know from our family. How would you know if your brother is a rapist? How would you know if your father has molested somebody before? How would you know? If he didn't do it for you or do it to you, you wouldn't know. The way your father treated your mom is different from the way he treated you. The way your brother is treating you is different from the way he's treating other girls outside. You're not even the one dating them. So you wouldn't know the risk. Because this is like, for me, this is a risk assessment. Women are choosing bear over men because they know that if you're stuck in a place with a man that is stranger, because your brother is a stranger to everybody, your relative are stranger, we don't know them. If you're stuck in a forest with a stranger, either you're stuck with a man or an animal, it's better you pick the animal. Because you don't even know, you don't have an idea of what the man is going to do to you. And you thinking of a million things that the man is going to do to you, you'd rather just pick a bear. I have a few reactions on this video. Let us know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section while I show you all these videos, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
Not a or a bear. What percentage of men do y'all think are?
I want to be very clear about why I'm responding to this particular video that I've literally just seen. This isn't about opinions or internet debate. This is not even a controversial issue, okay? This is about how we talk about sexual violence, risk, and women's safety, and the consequences of getting it wrong when we frame it incorrectly. Go and have a look at that video, watch it in its entirety to get the full context. And I'm not attacking this particular content creator personally. I do not know her. Okay. However, there are some things that we need to set straight. Now, you will notice me glancing every now and then to the right-hand side because I've had to organize my thoughts. And I think we all need to organize our thoughts when we talk about sexual violence, bearing in mind men and children as well as women experience. Now, the man versus bear question, okay, analogy was never meant to be literal. And you'll see in that original video, the content creator starts to refute this man versus bear. You know, if you were in the forest as a woman, who would you feel safer with, as it were? Okay, it's a metaphor. Okay, and what it exposes is the constant risk calculation that women are often doing in various situations when it comes to men. And here's what we need to understand. It's not about individual men. We're talking about the systems of power, patriarchy, okay? The unpredictability of male entitlement. That's what that metaphor exposes. How normalized the risk often to women has become in our society. It is not about accusing every individual man you might know or come across, accusing him of being a predator. What we're talking about is a risk assessment, okay? Now, is it true that that bear analogy can be misused, oversimplified, used in ways to dehumanize men? Absolutely. But that isn't the argument that is actually made in this video by this content creator. So that could be a legitimate conversation, but that's not the conversation being had in that video. Because then the example, which is a false equivalence, which is dangerous and harmful, it really is talking about sexual predators here and assault. Okay, and what this does is fuel, okay, this belief that women are exaggerating, are hysterical, okay, and are imagining harm, potential harm. And that is not true. That is not true. And this is social conditioning. I talk about invisible contracts all of the time. Invisible contracts, okay, that women are forced to obey because of conditioning and socialization. One of the big ones, is around sexual autonomy and agency over one's body and being told that you're imagining it, okay? And what this content creator has done in her video is really collapse what is a systemic problem into an individual loyalty test or consideration. Has been used as a weapon of war since the beginning of time. So it's not just about women, accusing random men. On top of that, most sexual misconduct happens between people who know each other. So this idea, because in the video she encourages you to look at the men in your life, your brothers, your cousins, your friends, and then tell me how many of them are. Is it true? Is it plausible that 50% of men are actually rapists? Well, that is the wrong thinking here. It's the wrong thinking, because what we're doing is encouraging women to perform allegiance to men who they know in order to invalidate a systemic, very real reality. That is not analysis. And it mirrors the exact dynamic that keeps sexual violence hidden. Not my brother, not my husband, not my father, not our pastor, because I know him, because he's related to me, because he's never done anything to me. And here's the thing about it. We don't know how the men in our lives are behaving when they meet other people in the world when it comes to sexual behavior. We don't know. We're not in the room. And I don't say this, again, to impute any bad motive. I'm not saying every man is. What I am saying is we often are not in the room. We're not in the scenarios with the male relatives, the male friends that we actually have. Not least because this is a conditioning. It's a systemic problem. Men are socialized and conditioned not to necessarily respect a woman's agency, autonomy, and space. Consent is only really a conversation that is being had in the last few decades. And there are still men who say they didn't understand or do not understand what consent is. And that is everyday men that we might well be related to, work with, and get on with. Okay? The other thing that's really important to bear in mind here is the fact that we're talking about a continuum and a spectrum here. Because not only exists at the most extreme legal definition of continuum, coercion, pressure, ignoring no's, exploiting power differences. We well know this when it comes to workplace settings. Entitlement to women's bodies, harassment normalized as jokes, silence in the presence of other men's poor predatory behavior. Most women are harmed by men they know, not strangers in the forest. And that's why this particular example is a false equivalency and cannot be brought up in conversation here. Because what it does is it erases the amount of underreporting, the fear of retaliation, religious pressure, cultural silence, and the fact that lots of men, as I say, do not see their behavior as abusive or harmful, because that's the way men have been conditioned. So using your own brothers, uncles, fathers as examples is useless here and actually very dangerous. Because what we do then is we center their feelings, individual feelings, over what a very real systemic issue is. I literally have no words some days, okay? Women are not wrong for pointing out the risk that actually they face. This is not about encouraging hostility towards men, or women for that matter. This is not about protecting men. When we frame in that way, we're not protecting men and we're not calling women out. That's not the type of accountability we're going for. It's a systemic issue. It's a systemic issue here. And you know what, I've read some of the comments under that video already, and again, It fuels misogynistic people, which, by the way, that includes women who can be misogynistic as well.
So let's nip this man versus bear conversation in the bud right now. The question is, would you rather be in the forest alone with a man or a bear? Not a or a bear. What percentage of men do y'all think are That's what's really getting to me, because y'all make it seem like it's a 50-50% chance. Like, oh, he might be, he might not. Have you lost your mind? And before y'all answer that in the comments, because it is a question and I do want an answer, what percentage of men do y'all think are And when you answer, I want you to put it in the form of a sentence of the men that are in your life. So that way we can bring this back to reality. So I want you to say, of my 3 brothers, 2 of them are of my 6 male cousins, 3 of them are of my 5 male friends, 2 of them are I want you to give me those numbers. And I think about this in real life because I have brothers in real life. And if somebody out there chose to be in the forest with a bear as opposed to one of my brothers because you thought there was even a chance that one of them might rip you, bitch, fight me right now. No, fight me right now.
Well, I guess we better get to squaring up then, because don't none of us know your relatives. We don't know your brothers. We don't know your daddy. See, this man versus bear conversation is a metaphor, and it's very clear that people don't understand what a metaphor is. It's not to be used literally. It's about risk assessment. And the one thing you do not get to do in risk assessment is hone in on one particular risk unless that is the one specific thing that is being talked about. And in the man versus bear conversation, it absolutely is not. My name is Daniela Virgo, and I am the founder of Dark Goddess Academia, where we initiate ourselves into the sacred feminine, specifically the sacred shadow feminine. And we use dark wisdom, we use shadow work, and we use self-mastery and alignment to do so. And oftentimes here we do talk about risk assessment because this is a planet of survival. And women like this are a danger. They're a danger to themselves. They're a danger to you. They're a danger to everyone that they're around because they are so heavily invested in protecting the lives of men, particularly the ones in their family, that they will put anyone in harm's way. That's the bottom line. Because all of that hooting and hollering was about her ending line, about her brothers and her male relatives and her dad. The fact of the matter is, we don't know them. They are as much of a risk as any other man on the street because to us, they are any other man on the street. And the one thing you will never find me doing is assuming that my brothers and my father and my uncle and my cousins and my homeboys are safe for other women. I don't even assume that they are safe for myself. But I'm cut from a different cloth. And that's not from a place of trauma. I have never been, the scenario she's talking about, I have never had someone violate me in that way. I don't come from a place of trauma. As far as I know, my brother and fathers haven't done anything, but that is as far as I know. This is coming from a place of dark wisdom. If you don't know what that is, either stay and be quiet or leave. Okay? The end of the day, I don't know what their relationships are with other people. And when people try to use their individual experiences with their individual family members to discredit the risk assessment that needs to be had for every other woman, including themselves, they are being manipulative. You do not, even if that's not their intentions. Maybe I believe she believed the bullshit that she's saying. But that's because she's ignorant. And that's what it boils down to. And any woman who goes this, y'all know that spirit I be talking about all the time? That's it. And it does not have anything to do with birthing men from your body, do it? That's it. That spirit that makes women want to protect men for no reason. For no reason whatsoever, because this is the bottom line at the beginning and end of every day. We have a completely different relationship with our male relatives than other women do. Period. This is about systems of oppression, and this is about socialization within systems of oppression, about misogyny, about the risk, the motivation that a man has versus a bear. Do you understand that the trauma behind a bear mauling you in the woods when you are in their home is extremely different than that of a man with intention? Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm not going to go to rabbit hole of making up scenarios because that's not the point. The point is about risk assessment. And do not ever dare let women like this make you put your guard down. Because this is the same reason why so many children are violated. This is that same spirit. The problem is they don't think that that's what it is. Because I can almost guarantee if somebody accused this woman, the way she going hard, if somebody accused this woman's brother or father of violating them, she's going to say that they're lying. Now, I'm cut from a different cloth, baby. So I don't expect most women to operate and move in the world like me because I was specifically designed for a purpose. And I live that purpose through the work that I do. Everyone is a risk in risk assessment. Everyone. Okay? Including women. But in this discussion, men are always a risk. Now, this does not look like you going outside and hating men. The scenario you are in matters. The situation you are in matters. The situation that you do and do not allow yourself to get in matters. Okay? That matters. Because guess what? You do not know. The bottom line is she don't know what her brothers and her father have done. And this is also the fuel. This misogynistic fuel is also what fuels silence. Silence in children, silence in women, silence in boys, silence in men who were violated and are too afraid to say something because they got a slew of people that love them. This is why shit gets swept under the rug. Nobody upholds this bullshit more than women.
Yeah.
Behind every man is some bitch in his family who is going to take up for him. Not understanding. Listen, if somebody accused any man in my family, I don't give a about a father. I don't give a about a brother. I don't give about a cousin, a homeboy, your uncle. I don't give a none of that. I'm not going to assume that they didn't do anything. I'm going to wait and get an assessment. And if any of my family members got a problem with it, they all can get cussed the fuck out. Period. Whether they did or didn't. Because a kind man, and this is not even about accusing people, right? People run to being accused. This is about risk assessment. Man versus bear is not about accusing men of violating you. And this risk is about everything. You don't get to hone in on one type of risk. Because I can open up the question and say, how many people, never mind the question that she asked is extremely manipulative and doesn't deserve an answer because you cannot judge what your family and your brothers and your uncle and your dad do to you. You have a completely different relationship with them than other women do. Your brother and dad are strangers to the rest of us. Yeah. Just like my brother and dad. My brothers and dads are strangers to other women. And because women don't like other women, they don't care. You only care about your ego and protecting your relatives. Because risk is everything, right? Risk is also, men are social. How many of y'all have been touched by a man without your permission? By a boy in high school without your permission? Oh, the sun is sunning. How many of y'all have been violated by men in some way? How many of you have been uncomfortable by men? Uncomfortable in a grocery store and uncomfortable in the woods is two very different things. How many of y'all have been coerced into conversation with men or giving them your phone number because you didn't know whether it would escalate or not? That is the risk we are assessing. She's assessing risk for her own relatives. She need to be assessing risk from other men. Don't listen to women like this.
Exactly. How many women have felt uncomfortable by a man before? There is a video I saw and they kind of did like a seminar and they were asking questions like how many women were molested or have ever been molested by a man before, a stranger or a relative. And there were women in the room, almost, I think all women in the room, like almost all the women raised up their hands that have been molested or sexually assaulted in one way or the other. Like you felt uncomfortable, you felt like it was not supposed to be. So even when you were young to your adult age and all of that, almost all women raised up there. In fact, I think it's even all women actually. If you do not, or they even say that if you've never been, if you know somebody that have, probably a friend or a relative or your mom or somebody raise up your hand. And so even if you've not, you have someone that is close to you that have experienced something like that. So looking at the whole thing now, when women are being assaulted and raped by these same men, and you're asking question that why are they choosing bear over men? How many percent of men are raping women, that women are deciding to choose the bear over men because you think your brothers or your father or your cousins are not rapists? The question is very annoying, you guys. It is very, very triggering. And I just feel like these are the type of women that when you are being touched in uncomfortable way, even if you're not raped, probably they didn't do it real, but you just kind of want to, make you feel very uncomfortable, and you go tell them about it. They're the kind of people that will tell you, oh, what were you putting on? Maybe you did, as if you like, they will want to blame you as a woman, that probably you're the one that made the man do something, like, oh, why did you go out late, or why did you buy certain clothing, why were you looking at him like that, you shouldn't have, these are the type of women we're talking about. Personally, I do not trust any man. I cannot beat my chest for any man and say, oh, I know this man with my full chest, he would never. I can't do that to any man, because if a man have decided not to do it, it's not part of the many men that are doing it. It's his personal decision. He choose not to. Some men even don't. If you tell them no 1 million times, okay, that's when you told them yes. You're starting the yes. Okay, I give you consent. Do whatever you want, and in the middle you're like no. They do not take no for an answer. They do not take, men do not take rejection for an answer. They do not take notes. We see this every day. We experience this every day. And a woman is out here saying that how many percent or percentage of men do you know that are rapists? How many percentage of women do you know that were raped or assaulted, that you know personally? Maybe you should start from that. Who are the men doing those things to these women? If you trust your brothers or you trust your family members so much, who are the men that are doing it to them? Because most of the time people say, how many men do you know that are bad? How many men do you know that are bad? It's not all men that are bad. It's not all men. It's not all men. How many men are out there doing the bad things? Like, this is just critical thinking. How many men do you know? How many women are you seeing coming to talk about these things over and over again? How many men do you know personally that have been raped? Oh, we see these things. In fact, every day, I'm not even kidding. Every day, I go on social media and I see. In fact, those videos or those stories, they make me very sad. I don't even watch them like that. So almost every day you hear something. A father this to his daughter, a daughter this person was this. Even years later, some women just have the boldness to come out to talk about some things, how their childhood was and all of that. And there's a woman saying that we should bring in out. You guys, what is your take on this video? Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, Sugar Mara David, and thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one, guys.